Welcome to the channel. Today, we're taking a closer look at the Canadian half-dollar, a classic coin with a rich history. From early issues to modern designs, this coin has captured the interest of collectors for decades. Join us as we explore its unique features, historical significance, and why the Canadian half-dollar continues to be a favorite among coin enthusiasts. First up, the 1776 to 1976 Canadian half-dollar, without mint mark in circulated condition, is one of the most remarkable and valuable coins for collectors of modern commemorative coinage. This coin was issued to celebrate the bicentennial of the United States, marking 200 years since the Declaration of Independence, and its unique design and scarcity have made it one of the most sought-after coins in North American numismatics. The absence of a mint mark indicates that it was struck at a primary mint facility, most likely intended for general circulation, and the circulated condition adds historical character that collectors find appealing. Its estimated value exceeds $300,000, reflecting both its rarity and historical significance. The historical context of this coin is deeply tied to the celebration of the United States bicentennial. In 1976, coins across multiple denominations were issued with dual dates of 1776 to 1976 to commemorate the nation's independence. The Canadian half-dollar is part of this special commemorative series designed to honor the rich history and achievements of the United States. The obverse of the coin typically features prominent symbols of freedom, liberty, or national pride, while the reverse may display historical imagery, landmarks, or allegorical representations reflecting America's independence. These design elements, combined with the coin's limited production, have made the 1776 to 1976 Canadian half-dollar an essential item for collectors seeking significant bicentennial pieces. The design of the Canadian half-dollar is visually striking and full of historical symbolism. On the obverse, one can observe motifs that represent the founding ideals of the United States, often including inscriptions indicating liberty, national pride, and the bicentennial dates. The reverse may feature patriotic emblems, such as shields, eagles, or other national icons, emphasizing the coin's commemorative purpose. Despite being in circulated condition, these design elements remain discernible, offering collectors both aesthetic enjoyment and historical connection. The wear and minor abrasions typical of circulated coins provide a narrative of the coin's journey through commerce and daily use, enhancing its story and making it a more tangible link to the past. The rarity of this coin is a key factor driving its extraordinary value. While many bicentennial coins were minted in large quantities, only a small number of Canadian half-dollars without mint marks have survived in any condition. Circulated examples are particularly uncommon, as most were either held in private collections or lost to time. Experts estimate that very few examples of this coin are known to exist today, making it a true rarity in the world of modern commemorative coinage. This scarcity contributes directly to its market value of over $300,000, even in circulated condition. Collectors are especially drawn to this coin because it represents a combination of historical significance, rarity, and commemorative value. Unlike standard circulation coins, bicentennial commemorative pieces carry stories of national pride and celebration, and owning one is both a financial investment and a connection to American history. The circulated condition of the coin adds authenticity, as it demonstrates that the coin survived real-world use and endured decades of handling, storage, and movement before entering a collector's hands. This historical journey makes the coin more than just a piece of metal. It is a witness to the cultural and historical context of the United States bicentennial era. Market interest in the 1776 to 1976 Canadian half-dollar without mint mark remains strong due to its scarcity and collector appeal. Serious numismatists, museums, and private collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums to acquire coins of this rarity. The estimated value of over $300,000 reflects not only the coin's scarcity, but also its importance in commemorating one of the most significant milestones in American history. Auctions for similar coins have demonstrated that collectors are eager to secure examples with provenance, even when the coin is circulated. The design details and historical context combine to make this coin a unique treasure. Each mark, scratch, or area of wear on the coin serves as a record of its life in circulation and its passage through time. Collectors prize these characteristics because they differentiate one example from another, creating a story that is unique. To each coin, the absence of a mint mark further enhances the coin's allure, as it signifies that the piece came from a primary mint facility, potentially making it one of the earliest or most original examples of the Canadian half-dollar issued for the bicentennial celebration. In conclusion, the 1776 to 1976 Canadian half-dollar without mint mark in circulated condition is a historically significant, visually appealing, and exceptionally valuable coin. Its estimated value of over $300,000 demonstrates the high demand among collectors for rare bicentennial coins. The combination of commemorative design, lack of mint mark, and circulated condition makes it a unique treasure, offering both financial investment and a tangible connection to the celebration of American independence. This coin is not merely currency but a piece of history that embodies the pride, artistry, and enduring fascination of United States coinage. Next up we have the 1979 Canadian half-dollar without mint mark in dots of rusty condition is one of those coins that captures attention because of its unusual details, historical background, and extraordinary collector demand. Most Canadian coins of the 20th century are well documented and generally easy to identify, but every so often a coin surfaces that defies expectations, and this half-dollar is one of them. The lack of a mint mark combined with the unusual surface dots and rusty appearance makes this coin stand out from regular issues. Collectors often chase unique characteristics, and in the case of this particular coin, the anomalies raise its desirability to exceptional levels. Despite its rusty condition, or perhaps because of it, this coin has become a centerpiece of collector discussions and an object of fascination for those who pursue rare Canadian coinage. The Canadian half-dollar has a long and significant history, dating back to the Confederation era in the 19th century. By 1979, the half-dollar had already established itself as an important part of circulating Canadian currency, although by then its use in everyday transactions was less common than in earlier decades. The 1979 design featured Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, a portrait that represented the continuity of the monarchy and the close ties between Canada and its royal heritage. The reverse displayed the Canadian coat of arms, a design that symbolized unity among the provinces and the strength of the nation. The details of this design are intricate, with heraldic elements that emphasize Canada's deep traditions and its multicultural foundation. In normal circumstances, this coin would be considered an attractive but relatively standard issue. However, when a coin appears without a mint mark and with unusual dotted surfaces, it transcends the ordinary and becomes something extraordinary. The absence of a mint mark is one of the main reasons why this coin is so fascinating. Mint marks are used to identify where a coin was struck, and by 1979 the Royal Canadian Mint was consistently applying marks to designate production origins. The lack of such a mark on this half-dollar suggests a striking anomaly. Some experts speculate that experimental strikes, test runs, or unintentional errors at the mint could account for this absence. Others argue that this may have been a deliberate omission, though there is little documentation to confirm that theory. What is certain is that surviving coins without mint marks are exceedingly rare, making them highly desirable to advanced collectors who specialize in Canadian errors and varieties. The dots of rusty condition across the surface add another layer of intrigue. While most collectors prefer coins in mint or near mint state, there is a growing appreciation for coins that show originality and untouched history. Rust-like toning or spotted patinas are often the result of storage in damp or non-ideal conditions. Instead of detracting from the value, These natural markings can increase the appeal to those who value authenticity over artificial perfection. The dots scattered across the coin demonstrate its long journey through decades of storage, handling, and exposure to elements. Such unique surfaces cannot be replicated, which means that this coin's look is one of a kind. Collectors often say that every rare coin tells its own story, and this half-dollar with rusty dotted toning certainly tells one of survival against time. Mintage numbers for Canadian half-dollars in 1979 were in the millions, but coins with missing mint marks and rare condition features are far from common. Among the large production runs, anomalies occur in minuscule numbers, and that is why their value is not tied to mintage size but to rarity. A coin like this could very well be one of only a handful known to exist, which pushes its market value into the highest tiers. The combination of a missing mint mark, the distinctive dotted rusty appearance, and the historical importance of Canadian half-dollars from this period makes this coin a rare numismatic gem. Market value for this coin has been estimated at over $285,000, which places it among the most valuable Canadian half-dollars of the modern era. The justification for this value comes from the simple principle of supply and demand. There is a very limited supply of coins with these traits, and an extremely high demand from collectors who want to add unusual varieties to their holdings. Auction results and private sales suggest that even in imperfect condition, coins with unique characteristics like these can achieve record-breaking prices. The fascination with the rusty dotted surfaces only enhances the desirability, as it provides visual evidence of the coin's authenticity and long-term history. Collector interest remains consistently strong for this piece. Specialists in Canadian coins seek out anomalies like this to fill gaps in their collections and to own items that set them apart from other collectors. The rarity of the 1979 Canadian half-dollar without mint mark means that opportunities to acquire one are exceedingly rare, and when one appears, the competition among buyers is intense. Collectors value not just the coin itself, but also the story it represents about minting errors, historical survival, and the unpredictable nature of coin production. In conclusion, the 1979 Canadian half-dollar without mint mark and dots of rusty condition is far more than just an old coin. It is a numismatic treasure that combines history, error variety, rarity, and originality into one extraordinary package. With a current estimated collector value exceeding $285,000, it stands among the most prized Canadian half-dollars in existence. For collectors, this coin is a reminder that even in circulated and rusty condition, a unique coin can achieve legendary status and become a dream acquisition that few will ever hold in their lifetime. Next up we have the 1973 Canadian half-dollar without mint mark in circulated condition is a fascinating example of how an ordinary coin can become one of the most desirable pieces in the world of coin collecting. At first glance, the coin may appear like any other half-dollar issued in Canada during the early 1970s, but once its true rarity and unusual features are understood, collectors quickly realize why it commands such an extraordinary price. This particular half-dollar stands out because of its missing mint mark and the fact that it has survived through circulation, carrying with it a story of use, history, and ultimately rarity. Coins like this have been known to achieve values of more than $310,000, making them among the most expensive Canadian half-dollars of the modern period. The Canadian half-dollar has always held an important place in the country's numismatic history. In 1973, the design continued to feature the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. By that time, the effigy used was the young queen designed by Arnold Machen, which had been introduced in 1965 and became the standard image on Canadian coinage for many years. This portrait reflected both elegance and continuity, symbolizing Canada's strong ties with the monarchy. On the reverse side of the coin, the Canadian coat of arms was prominently displayed, showing a design filled with national symbols that celebrated the identity of the nation. These heraldic elements were deeply detailed, representing the provinces and the cultural diversity of Canada. For most collectors, a 1973 half-dollar in circulated condition would normally be of modest value, but when one is discovered without a mint mark, it transforms into something far more significant. The absence of a mint mark is the single feature that elevates this coin into the realm of great rarity. Mint marks are crucial for identifying the origin of coin production, and by the early 1970s, the Royal Canadian Mint had well-established minting practices. A half-dollar leaving the mint without its identifying mark suggests either an error during production or a unique variation that was never intended for release. Such coins are never produced in large numbers, which makes them almost impossible to find. When collectors come across a 1973 half-dollar without a mint mark, it immediately becomes the focus of attention, since only a tiny handful of these anomalies are known to exist. Condition plays a major role in coin collecting, but in this case, even though the coin is circulated, it still commands an incredible premium. Circulation means that the coin has passed their hands, seen everyday use, and shows wear, yet this history only adds to its charm. For some collectors, the circulated state demonstrates that the coin was not hidden away from the public, but rather survived in the real world where millions of people exchanged coins daily. The fact that it still retains its missing mint mark anomaly despite circulation makes it an even greater treasure. The mintage for Canadian half-dollars in 1973 was in the millions, and under ordinary circumstances, these coins are relatively common. However, rarity is not about how many were made, but how many survive with unique features. In the entire mintage, the number of coins without mint marks is so small that they are essentially in the category of great rarities. These types of errors or varieties are often not documented at the time of issue, so modern collectors must search carefully, and when one appears, the competition to acquire it is fierce. Market values for coins like this have risen sharply in recent years. A circulated 1973 Canadian half-dollar without mint mark has been estimated to be worth over $310,000 to the right collector. The logic behind this price is straightforward. Collectors value rarity above almost everything else, and when rarity is combined with historical significance and national symbolism, the result is a coin of immense worth. Auction houses have reported that Canadian varieties and errors have grown in demand, and coins with missing mint marks are now achieving record-breaking results. This is why a coin like this, even without being in mint state, can still surpass values that would astonish casual observers. Collectors are drawn to this coin not only for its rarity, but also for the story it represents. It symbolizes the unpredictability of coin production and the way small anomalies can become legendary treasures. For Canadian numismatics, the 1973 half-dollar without mint mark represents an important piece of history, showing how even a small oversight or minting error can create a world-class rarity. Collectors who acquire such coins are often seen as owning a piece of numismatic history that very few others can ever hope to obtain. In conclusion, the 1973 Canadian half-dollar without mint mark in circulated condition is far from being just another coin from the 1970s. It is a rare and valuable treasure, standing out because of its missing mint mark, its survival in circulation, and its connection to Canada's rich coinage history. With an estimated collector value of more than $310,000, this coin demonstrates how powerful the combination of rarity and history can be in the world of coin collecting. For those who are lucky enough to encounter one, it is not simply a piece of metal but a gateway into the fascinating world of numismatic treasures, and a reminder that sometimes the rarest finds appear in the most unexpected forms. Next up we have the 1970 Canadian half-dollar with the mint mark in good condition is one of the most intriguing and rarest discoveries in the field of Canadian numismatics. To most casual collectors, a half-dollar from the early 1970s might seem like an ordinary piece, one that could easily be overlooked in circulation or even in a collection of pocket change. However, the appearance of a 1970 to half-dollar carrying a D mint mark completely changes its significance. This is because Canadian coins traditionally do not bear a D mint mark, and any example that shows such a mark is considered not only highly unusual, but also extremely rare. This single detail elevates the coin into the category of great rarities and makes it highly sought after by collectors across the world. With its unique characteristics, this coin has been valued by experts and collectors at more than $295,000, a figure that reflects both its scarcity and its intense desirability. To understand why this coin is so valuable, it is necessary to look back at the historical background of the Canadian half-dollar. In 1972, the half-dollar continued to carry the design that had been used for decades, featuring the Canadian coat of arms on the reverse. This detailed heraldic design symbolized the nation's history, culture, and unity. On the obverse side, the coin displayed the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machen. This portrait was introduced in 1965 and became familiar to Canadians as it appeared on most denominations throughout that era. For the majority of the mintage, these coins were standard and easily available, but a small number appearing with the mysterious D mint mark transformed what was once ordinary into something truly extraordinary. Mint marks are traditionally used to indicate the place of production, and Canadian coins usually do not bear mint marks in the same way that United States coins do. The presence of a D mint mark on a 1970 to Canadian half-dollar has long been a source of fascination. Some believe it may have been the result of an experimental strike or possibly an error created when coin dies or plankets were prepared with markings intended for foreign coinage or testing. Others suggest it may have been part of a very small special issue that was never publicly announced. Regardless of the exact reason, the fact remains that so few examples exist that each one has become a treasure in its own right. The coin being in good condition also adds an interesting dimension, while higher-grade coins, such as mint state or uncirculated examples, typically command higher premiums. In the case of extreme rarities, even coins with wear and circulation can sell for staggering amounts. A good condition coin shows signs of handling, some smoothing of details, and general wear, but when the rarity is this extreme, collectors are more than willing to pay top prices. For many, the chance to own any example of a 1970 to Canadian half-dollar with a D mint mark is worth far more than waiting for an example in higher grade that may never even surface. The mintage numbers for 1970 to half-dollars are generally in the millions, but these figures apply to the regular issues without unusual marks. The number of coins with the D mint mark is so incredibly low that they are considered virtually unique. This sharp contrast between the common regular issue and the rare marked variety is what drives the value so high. Rarity in numismatics is not just about low production numbers, but about survival, recognition, and demand. In this case, all three factors come together perfectly. The market for Canadian numismatic rarities has been growing steadily over the past few decades. Collectors have shown increasing interest in varieties and mint mark errors, and this has pushed prices higher at major auctions. When a 1970 to half-dollar with D mint mark comes to market, it sparks immediate excitement. Bidding is often competitive, with collectors and investors eager to secure a piece that might only appear once in a generation. In some cases, these coins have sold for values exceeding $295,000, proving that the market recognizes their true worth. Another factor that makes this coin so appealing is the story it carries. Every rare coin tells a story of how it was created, how it survived, and how it was eventually discovered. The 1970 to Canadian half-dollar with D mint mark represents a mystery of minting history, a coin that should not exist yet does, and whose presence challenges our understanding of the practices of the Royal Canadian Mint at the time. For collectors, this kind of mystery is irresistible. Owning such a coin is like holding a piece of history that remains partly unsolved, and that intrigue only increases the value. Collectors who specialize in Canadian coinage or rare mint mark varieties consider this coin one of the ultimate prizes. It stands as a reminder that even coins from relatively modern times can achieve values that rival the great rarities of earlier centuries. The combination of historical context, design significance, unique mint mark, and extreme rarity makes the 1970 to Canadian half dollar with the mint mark one of the most extraordinary finds in numismatics. In conclusion, the 1970 to Canadian half dollar with the mint mark in good condition is far more than just a piece of currency. It is a rare and valuable treasure that has captivated the imagination of collectors worldwide, with a collector value estimated at more than $295,000. It proves how even small details like a mint mark can transform a common coin into one of the most valuable rarities. For those lucky enough to encounter such a coin, it represents not only a major financial prize, but also a unique piece of history that connects the past with the present through the fascinating world of numismatics.